What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Okay. So I was wrong about the outcome of the fight. Time to eat a little bit of crow, maybe a leg, not too much. I had it heading into the Danny Garcia Shawn Porter fight. I thought it was, 52-48, leaning towards Danny Garcia. But Shawn Porter proved me wrong. I personally scored the fight a draw, but I could see why somebody could score it 115, 113 for Shawn Porter. I don't see how in the world somebody got that 116, 112. But hey, man, it is what it is. And Shawn Porter's the WBC champion. So congratulations to him. So let's talk about what that means for the welterweight division. Then I'll give you my thoughts on the fight and what that means as far as him and Errol Spence Jr. Before I do that, though, I definitely want to thank you for watching the video. And subscribers and those who are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we release more videos. And also thank you to everybody that supports the channel by watching the videos, the commercials in the videos, the people that support on Patreon, support and Venmo, and Super Chats and the live streams. That said, and also please remember we're going to be doing a Super Chat challenge for 78 Sports TV's channel. Now, Shawn Porter, he boxed better than I thought he would. Once I saw him when he walked out there with Barry Hunter, I was like, okay, wow, I didn't know he was training with Barry Hunter. And so I think Barry Hunter might have, having listened to the commentators, might have added, a little couple, wrinkles in Shawn Porter's game. Shawn Porter was really the big difference in the fight. That had to be the big difference for the judges that were watching it was the athleticism and the activity level of Shawn Porter. He was definitely the more active of the fighters. Whenever they got tied up, he was the one who was letting his hands go in the clinches, and that probably could have turned a couple rounds his way. And so yeah, there you go. He didn't resort as much to the mugging, mauling, but he did a good amount of it. But it was nothing to the point where I thought it was really, the guy should be penalized or anything like that. So he was a lot more clean this fight than he had been in other fights, and so he actually looked pretty good to me. Now, a reason that I had it a draw, and honestly, man, I could see if some people thought Danny Garcia won, was because Danny Garcia was landing he was landing the more significant shots, the more telling shots, and he was much more accurate, and he landed the bigger shots. But activity, Shawn Porter's activity obviously impressed the judges more. And it is what it is, man. I could live with it. All in all, though, it was a really good fight. It was a good, entertaining night of boxing. I started off by watching the undercard fights, and the Serrano, young lady Serrano, that fight was pretty interesting. And then when the main event came on, Kornacki versus Charles Martin was a good, it was a good rock'em sock'em robot type of fight. Neither one of the guys looked particularly good. Adam Kornacki pulled it out. Took a lot of punishment in pulling it out. And, I'm a little less high on him than I was before, because I think, if he gets in there with a guy like, the upper level guys, then, he's going to wind up having a lot of trouble. Not very impressed with Charles Martin at all. Never really have been. But you know what it is. But it was a very, very good, entertaining fight. Ugas, I don't know what to make of Ugas, man. He looked like he looked good. He was dominant. He won the fight easy. I think he won every round at his fight. But a guy like that, I think he should have been able to do a little bit more with him. And we'll see what goes on with Ugas now. He's in the in a position. I think he's one of the mandatories. Who knows how the WBC does this, man? Might be one of 9 mandatories or whatever it is. But, he's going to keep on moving. I don't know what's going to go on with Danny Garcia after this. Of course, Danny Garcia will get another shot at somebody. I wouldn't be surprised, I mean, he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He'll be back. And, I look forward to seeing Danny Garcia again. The problem with Danny Garcia was he was just too slow. He just wasn't able to, in this fight, he just wasn't able to pull a trigger. He was counter punching, and, he was pretty accurate, but it just seemed like Shawn Porter's hand speed caused him a lot of problems. And that's the one thing that I underestimated in Shawn Porter, because for all of that grappling and mauling and all that nonsense that goes on with Shawn Porter, I never really noticed that he had very good hand speed. And now he might just have really good hand speed because he has a good jab. He has a very good fast jab. And it might have been, I just never paid attention to that before. But I will duly note it for next fight. Or it also might be that just Danny Garcia was moving so slow that it made his punches look faster. We'll see. But the interesting thing that took place, of course, in this is that Errol Spence Jr. got in the ring afterwards. And Errol Spence Jr. is coming out of his shell, man. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and the fact that the guy, got into the ring and he was like, look, man, I'm going to tell you, just like when you got up there with Danny Garcia talking about calling him out, I'm calling you out the same way. Let's make this fight happen. I love you, love your daddy and all that, but let's make this happen. So they said, oh, yeah, we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. I will not hold my breath. Now, where I'm saying, as far as what would happen in this, but now that he's a unified champion, Shawn Porter is one of the 4 welterweight champions. He's the WBC welterweight champion. You've got Keith Thurman. I don't know what's going on with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was calling the undercard fights, and I'm listening to this guy thinking he's retired, because clearly he's been taking lessons, commentating lessons, so his mind is on his next job. But we'll see when he comes back. And I heard he said a couple things I'll talk about in another video or whatever. But whatever. We'll see what goes on with him. But Errol Spence said, all right, man, we got to try to make this for next year. That was the interesting thing that I heard when Errol Spence Jr. called him out. He's talking about calling him out for next year. And that's about right. It's September now, right? So there's only September, October, November, December, 4 months left in the year. So that's not enough time to turn around and have that unification fight. So Errol Spence will probably wind up fighting somebody else. I do not believe that that's going to be Mikey Garcia. And obviously it's not going to be Ugas either, because Ugas is for all that talking about Ugas being the mandatory for the IBF, and he might wind up still being the mandatory for the IBF. He's now a mandatory for the WBC as well. So we'll see what goes on with Ugas, whether or not Ugas is the next fight for Errol Spence. I don't think he will be. A fight that I'd like to see for Errol Spence, I'd like to see an Omar Figueroa, something like that. But we'll see. We'll see. At the end of the day, man, it don't matter though as far as Shawn Porter goes and Errol Spence, because Shawn Porter's going to get the brakes beaten off of him. From what I've seen today, what I saw today, he's going to get absolutely tattooed. Number one, Errol Spence Jr. is a southpaw, and he's also got a better jab than Danny Garcia. He's got faster hands than Danny Garcia. And when they get in that, and gets close and tries to mug, Errol Spence Jr.'s got that body work that's going to cause him it's going to cause him some pain. So, it is what it is, man. But, congratulations to Shawn Porter. I was definitely, once again, man, really happy that the guy didn't, that it just wasn't all mugging and mauling. It was a good bit of mugging and mauling, but not as much mugging and mauling as it had been before. I appreciate how classy Danny Garcia was in defeat. I know he felt like he won that fight, but the truth of the matter is that if he did, he definitely lost it, but officially he lost it. But the reason why, he wasn't able to, well, I guess I have to look at the scorecards to see what rounds they scored for who. But the last 2 rounds, I gave to Shawn Porter. I had given the first several rounds I think I gave the first 3 rounds to Danny Garcia, and I don't think, I'm sorry, I gave the 12th round to Danny Garcia, but this is an also ran type of, this is an also ran type of situation. The best thing that comes out of it is now you have a WBC champion. Hopefully, Shawn Porter won't get funny acting and, not fight Errol Spence Jr. And because if he does, man, that's going to be, that's going to be short. That's going to be a Charles Martin like title reign. With Charles Martin, how long did Charles Martin hold the title before he got beat up by Anthony Joshua? Like 3 months or something like that. I think he won it in a disqualification, and then Anthony Joshua beat him 3 months later. I don't think it's going to be 3 months because clearly this isn't going to be till next year, and it might not be till the May time frame because Errol Spence, although his opponent's not named yet, I have to believe that he's going to fight somebody in the December time frame, the November, December time frame, but we'll see, man. It is what it is, man. I'm glad Errol Spence got aggressive. Congratulations to Shawn Porter. And also thank you to everybody for subscribing and supporting the channel. And with that, I'm out. Peace.